Hello, everybody. Hello, we are live. Hello, all everybody. Anybody there? Anybody there? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 3 people. Hello, 4. Please give a sign if you can hear me loud and clearly. Give us a signal if you can hear me loudly and clearly. Okay, 9 people. Hello, everyone. It's been a while. Right. 12. Okay, it's 802. Hello there. Awalo. Nchimunia Mwene. I see you. Hi, Austin K. Hi, David Simon. Hi, Austin K again. Yes, we're watching. We are live and we are on Zoom as well. We'll be starting shortly. If you can hear me clearly, please give a signal. 24 people. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's clear. Thank you, David. Long day for me. I hope I'm not looking super exhausted right now. Okay, we'll be starting in 5 minutes. Yeah, let's say a couple of minutes. 5 minutes. We'll be starting. Let's just get everybody to join us. 32 and counting. Nobody on Zoom yet. Thank you. Miles Piri. Red family forever indeed. Yes, Aaron, believe me, we are background. Don't worry, Msavtikena Mtima. Andrew, yes, thank you. Good evening. Good evening, wise man. It's been long, yes, it's been long. The whole suspension of the campaign and everything took its toll. Tobias, thank you. Robert Nirenda, thank you. Tobias, I'm well, thanks. Hoping you are well too, and everybody that's joining us this evening. A couple more minutes before we go into the substantive discussion. 42, thank you, and counting. Nobody on Zoom yet, but we are live on FB. All right. Kasongo Kapaya. Straight into it, right? Kasongo has a question. How will you help Ridgeway students and the hostels? Christabel Nifoa Chabe, yes, thank you and welcome. 47 and counting. It's now 20:05. I suppose those joining us will catch up. Joyce, I see you too. Nifoa Chabe. Forward Chabe. Jack Muleya, beg pardon, from Livingston. Thank you for joining us. Dalia Piri from Chipata, Eastern Province. Kamlandilani, you're welcome. Okay, all right. right. We have a lot of background noise coming in. I'm sure it will stop very soon. Thank you, Rebecca, for your vote. Thank you. Much appreciated. Okay. I think let's begin. I hope we'll be able to do a full hour. It's been quite a pretty long day. Thank you very much, Manekel, I think that was. Good to see you too, Lottie, and Honorable Peter Walia. What plans do I have for the UTH car park? Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Watching from Matero, Reeve Mwamba. Gibson, thank you. I see you. Anjenja, indeed. Okay, right. Just a quick adjustment. Oh, sorry. My goodness. Technology. I do apologize for that. I apologize for that. I was trying to adjust the camera and the selfie stick failed on me. Sorry. I hope we're back on. Great, we are. Right. Sorry about that. Yes, Martha from Kalulushi. How are the campaigns going? Yes, I will be answering that. Joyce is asking me to shout Anjenja before we start. We can actually do the slogan. Walusaka Centra Tibwanji. Anjenja. Ati HH Sazaka Winapo. Usheni Zambia Nyoko. I can't believe I just did that. That's how much we love the people who are following us. All right, I was saying let's begin. I'm hoping that we can do a full hour. Today is a resumed Tikambisane interactive forum after a hiatus of a short break of about 2-3 weeks now. Of course, the break has not been as a result of our own wanting to do so. It was necessitated by ensuring that we comply with my personal view is that it was an unfair suspension of the campaigns by the ECZ. But that's water under the bridge. We're not here to complain. We're not here to cry. So I want us to have a general discussion, an overview of where we are today. Following the suspension of campaigns, there's been a lot that has happened. There was the refiling of nominations that we all had to undertake, and a number of other things that we'll talk about going into this discussion this evening. I'm very grateful for all of you having joined us, and I hope that we do have an interesting show. I'm really enjoying Joyce Mateo's repeating of our slogan there. I think it shows that we are together and we're following one another as we go through this journey. 20 days to go. Wow, it looks like it's been a year, literally. It's been quite a long few days, and very happy few days. So an overview is what we're doing. For those that are just joining us, you're welcome. This is the Tikambisane Interactive Forum, and today we're doing a general overview of where we are in the campaign, having been away from this platform for the last 3-4 weeks or so. Now, I think when we last spoke, when we last had a discussion, I was actually, I had visited Ridgeway campus, I believe, and my intention, that's the University of Zambia Ridgeway campus, and my intention was to talk about that particular institution and matters relating to the welfare of our medical personnel, those that are associated with the medical field. And I think I'll touch on that today as well, although there is a bigger program that's coming along. So I don't want to preempt that, just to perhaps make mention of our frontline staff. During the intervening period, we've had very sad events with For me, I'm very, very close to the medical fraternity for various reasons. Obviously, one of them being that our whole existence, our livelihood, is directly affected by our health. And so for being a representative, a potential representative of people who are in the medical profession, in the fact that the UTH, which is the biggest referral institution in this country, sits in Lusaka Central. Therefore, you have all the doctors' interests that work there. This is really sitting in the hands of any representative of the constituency. You have also the medical schools. Ridgeway campus of the University of Zambia, as I already mentioned, sits in Lusaka Central. The nursing schools and other professional institutions, including those that are not the private institutions, that is to mention but a few. We have people from Rockville University that do their medical learning, if I may call it that, for the lack of a better term, within Lusaka Central. So again, as I said, the medical profession is very dear to me. It's very key to me, key to my interest, to my fulfilling what I believe my mandate is and what my mandate will be. So I'll have a special program around that in a couple of days' time. Please continue to follow me on this Facebook page of mine. And generally, I would like us to have a whole hour session, or even at least 30 minutes come next Thursday, hoping by then we will not be so totally exhausted that we can't have these discussions. But as I promised, barring the suspension of campaigns by the ECZ, we would have had this show going non-stop from the time that we commenced. Nonetheless, we're here and we can enjoy one another's company. So where are we today? Let's talk about the fresh nominations and what the implications of that are. I think some of you may know, and some may not, that on Monday, the 12th of, the 12th of July, 2021, which was last week, we all aspiring candidates were required to file fresh nominations following the cancellation by the Electoral Commission of Zambia of the election in Lusaka Central constituency. At the time that the ECZ announced that it intended to cancel the election, I had immediately made it known publicly that one, I did not agree with the interpretation by the ECZ of that particular provision of the law. The ECZ, by the way, relied on an article of the Constitution, Article 52, sub-Article 6, which provides that when a candidate resigns or dies or is disqualified prior to the election, but post-nomination, then that election will be cancelled and fresh nominations have to be undertaken. So the ECZ relied on that in view of the withdrawal by Charity Lumpa, who had stood as an independent candidate of her candidature. Now, she withdrew on the 21st of May, I think just about 3 or 4 days after the filing of nominations. But it took the ECZ an entire, is it 2 months, 1 month, just shy of 2 months to make the announcement that it had chosen to interpret the law in such a way that it stated that the effect of the cancellation, the effect of her withdrawal was to cause the cancellation of the election. I did say that I did not agree with that interpretation, but nonetheless, I didn't file, or my legal team didn't file any process as a result of that. And I thought it's important that I explain to you who may be following me why that decision was made. The decision was essentially made because the ECZ chose to have the fresh nominations take place on the 12th of July 2021. And the law says that following the fresh nominations, then an election must take place within 30 days. And the consequence of choosing the 12th of July 2021 as the date for fresh nominations was that the election will be held together with all other general elections on the 12th of August 2021. So my concern and the concern of those that advised me, and including my legal team, was that if we took out legal process to challenge the whole cancellation and fresh nominations, then there was a possible outcome of having the election delayed. And we don't want to do that. We are in a hurry to get to the election date. We are in a hurry to ensure that the election is won early in the morning so that we get about doing our work. And so we made a strategic decision not to challenge the decision of the ECZ to cancel the election and call for fresh nominations. But that doesn't mean that we agreed entirely or agree entirely with the ECZ's interpretation of the law. And we've said, as outstanding citizens, we'll still have an opportunity come post-election to ensure that that piece of legislation is clarified and to ensure that it's not applied in the manner that ECZ did. You may want to know that a cancelled election essentially means that everything that we did from 12th of May, when the first nominations were done, up to the date when the new nominations, the fresh nominations were undertaken, is now and void. It therefore means that effectively, if for example, any of us had not succeeded to file our fresh nominations, then they would have lost out on all the input they made in the campaign. And we've put in quite significant resources in ensuring that we run a good and healthy campaign from the period of initial nomination till the new nomination. There's a second aspect to it, of course, which the ECZ has not addressed, which is the question as to who bears the cost for this cancelled nomination. Let's look at it this way. Ms. Lumpa made her personal decision not to continue in the race. And yet, ECZ then comes to us to ask us to pay a new 15,000 kwacha fee. What's that about? What kind of thinking is that? There's nowhere in the law that it says upon the cancellation of an election and the calling for fresh nominations that the fees that were paid prior to the cancellation become null and void. There's nowhere in the law that says. So I'll be looking to question that post-election. I'll be looking to ask the court to determine whether one, the amounts that were expended for the cancelled election ought to be refunded, and there was significant amounts of money, I must say. And two, who will then bear the additional costs arising from the cancellation and fresh nomination? I would say if Charity Lumpa withdrew, and there are consequences of her withdrawal, such as the other candidates being expected to pay 15,000 all over again, then she should bear those costs. And similarly with the cancelled election, if she caused people to suffer a financial consequence or as a result of her decision, her personal decision to withdraw, then she ought to reap the benefits as well as the obligations that arise from her withdrawal. So those are the lingering questions that I would like the court to answer post-election, and God, all things being equal, and God willing, we will be able to take out the necessary action at the material time. For now, I can confirm that it's all systems go. The campaign is going on very well, and I'll tackle that aspect next, because I've received several questions from the press and so on and so forth as to, has your campaign been affected by this cancellation? And of course, I'll very quickly answer right off the bat that in fact there's a silver lining to every cloud. The consequence of the cancellation of the nomination and also the suspension of campaigns was to make us ingenious in the way we approached the whole issue. Of course, we continue to be law abiding. Therefore, there seemed to have been a slowing down in the ordinary campaign activities, such as door-to-door campaign. There seemed to have been a slowing down in activities such as the road shows. Of course, this meant that as a result, there was a seeming lull, or there was a seeming lapse in our campaign work. And a number of you who support the UPND and those who follow me have asked and said, but what does it mean? Were you sitting back? Were you not engaging with the electorate? And of course, the answer to that question is no. We had other platforms, other means by which we were able to reach out to the electorate, and I just hope that you were able to follow those. And I'd like you who are here now to give an indication whether at all you were able to follow us electronically. You were able to follow my campaign activity and the campaign team's activity electronically and through the media. If you were, please give me a thumbs up, and that would be really, really reassuring. Aside from that, the ban did not necessarily say that the ordinary activities of a, a political party were banned. So basically, what the ban was all about was, it said you going to engage the electorate in a campaign is not allowed. You have been stopped from doing that. But then it didn't say that we were prevented from continuing to recruit members for the party. And so we continued to push throughout the whole period of the ban on mobilization activity, and that was very, very successful. And it wasn't a campaign. It was basically to say, here membership cards are available. If you come to this particular place, then you can you put yourselves on a list, and then we will make you into a branch, and then you would be able to be part of the big red family. And that was really, really successful. We had a lot of people that were following, coming through and saying, in fact, we have always loved the party. We have always wanted to associate ourselves with it. Even those who are coming to us for the first time, joining us afresh, we're saying, look, we have gone through quite a bit under this particular regime, and we want to try something new. We want to try something fresh. We want to join Anjenja, the solid choice for a fresh start. So all systems go. We have not been prevented or stopped from our campaign on a practical perspective. We have continued to push. And the answer then to the question that has been put across to us is a big yes, the campaign has been going on. Well, not going on in the strict sense of it, but the engagement through mobilization activity has been ongoing, and we are on track. It's gratifying to note that, for example, when on radio, even with personal interactions with various people, today I was in my newly acquired vest here, and oh, by the way, we are COVID compliant. I'd like to prove that for just a second or two by wearing this. The campaign effort has got a lot of supporters. I hope you can still hear me. So the campaign effort has got a lot of supporters, and I would like to pay particular gratitude to my former schoolmates who came together and helped with the initiative of producing these wonderful face masks. You'll be seeing a lot of them around. They helped in the little way that they could. We banded together, and we were able to produce these face masks for consumption by the general public, so that we maintain COVID compliance throughout the campaign period that has now just started, the one that has just resumed. So for any of you who are out there, please just know that we're doing everything possible to keep one another safe and to ensure that no one suffers the consequences of this interaction with the people that we have just been allowed to resume. So my classmates, my former classmates and schoolmates, were kind enough to do this initiative for me, to help me in the production of a good number of face masks, which we'll be giving obviously free of charge to the general public, to help us engage with them and to ensure that we all stay safe. This third wave is not playing at all. So it's been a very, very interesting period, and it continues to be a very, very interesting period. We will soon be going to the poll, and I would urge us all to again maintain as much as possible COVID safety, if I may use that expression. I don't know if that's correct or not. I would like us all to stay focused. There are a number of things that we are telling our people. Sorry, Peter Lukama, there's a specific question. Sorry, people. I just have to look at this and respond. How can I get in touch with the person who makes those masks? There's a question that has come across. Peter, there's no problem. I think you can reach out on the sidelines and I'll give you that information either today after the show. I am dead tired, so I don't know whether I'll be able to do that today, but certainly tomorrow I'll be able to do what was I saying before I read Peter's question? I was saying that there's education that we need to do as well regarding the forthcoming election for. Sorry, technical issue there. There was an incoming WhatsApp call. So what we have noticed, colleagues, comrades out there, is that our friends from the Socialist Party in particular have adopted our colors. I did on behalf of the party write to the Electoral Commission of Zambia explaining that the use of the red and yellow colors that have predominantly been used by the UPND from time immemorial by the Socialist Party of Zambia as well is likely to cause confusion in the minds of the electorate. And so one of the education points that I would like us to all take out there to help to mitigate the effects of this use of the same colors by Socialist Party of Zambia is please insist as you speak to people, as you convince them to join the red family, that they must look for the symbol on the ballot paper, so as to avoid unnecessary confusion. So you'll have red and yellow symbols, those belonging to other political parties. But please emphasize as you go out there to talk to your colleagues, as you convince them to join us in this race, that look, when you go in that booth, look for the face. And by the way, I'm there with my big smile on the ballot as well. Look for a face that you know, look for the name that you know if you can read, but most importantly, look for the symbol, the UPND symbol, and vote on the candidate that is under that particular ticket. And so the term that we're using as well is that, in fact, this particular election is not one that we need to take chances with. President HH is the people's choice. There's no doubt that the people have now chosen President HH to pick up the mantle, to go and run with the presidency of this republic. And our plea is that the president has made, and the party, of course, have made a strategic choice in their candidates across the country, 156 constituencies around the country. And for Lusaka Central, I happen to be that choice. And what we are saying is that the president needs to be given an effective base upon which he can work, a team that would allow us to fix the difficulties that this country has gone through. And that team can only be drawn from the pool that the president has chosen in terms of the members of parliament that he wants to work with. Now, let's look at it another way. If we don't make sure that we vote for a suit, top to bottom, president, member of parliament, UPND, Mulambo Haimbe for Lusaka Central specifically, and for the mayor opposition, please go for Mr. Victor Nyasulu, who's the alliance candidate for Lusaka mayor, and then for the various councillors in the respective wards. And what that does, it gives a solid team that the president can go with. It removes the possibility of speculation, because there is the possibility of the electorate choosing another opposition party representative for the constituency, for example, which would be a big no, because then you lose the advantage in parliament. Second, of course, there's the possibility of a far distant possibility, I hope, of the electorate choosing the incumbent in terms of the current ruling party representative to continue, which again is something that we are saying should not be done for obvious reasons. And I don't talk about personalities, by the way. I talk objective all the time, and that is one of the mantras I go by. And then, of course, there's also independent candidates. And whether one says that they support the presidential candidate, but they are independent, does not help, because what we want to do is to have an effective government. And we have seen in the Bill 10 debates what happens where one is not aligned to a particular political party. They will then either swing either way, either this way or that, depending on that. And we don't want that happening in the forthcoming government. We want to give a solid choice to the people of Zambia, a solid team through the people of Zambia, by electing UPND through and through. And that is a plea that I'm making to you all. And that is a plea that also goes to those that are not with us currently, and that they can go and spread the word. They can go and spread the message that, as I say in the field, ulendo amenetenda popano, si ulendo wama experiments. This is a journey in which we have to make sure that we give President H.H. all the strength that he desires, that he requires in order to run the country. Right. That was a mouthful. I'm out of breath right now. Today, we've been in the field all day. As I said, this particular resumed Tikambisane Interactive Forum is about giving you all an update of where we are in the campaign, and with 20 days to go. So one of the pleas, the cries that has come across, and one of the concerns that some have expressed on various platforms is, are you on the ground as UPND? Are you, Anjenja, on the ground as well? And I'd like to assure you that we most certainly are. You'll see today, for example, that President HH was in Kafue and at Turnpike, and received a very, very good reception. Similarly, I've been in the field with talking with our people throughout the day since ordinary campaigns have resumed, and I can also reassure you that the people are extremely excited. You can't believe that a piece of UPND regalia is now literally like diamond. Now even the face masks that are given to our electorate, our brothers and sisters out there, are cherished with such passion that it's a clear demonstration that the people of Zambia have accepted, the people of Lusaka Central have accepted us, and that is very exciting for me. The other message that we are now giving on the ground is that, look, vote protection starts with you and me. It's not about people saying, what is the political party doing about vote protection? That shouldn't be the narrative anymore. Vote protection is can only be done the way we've done it in 1991, the way we did it in 2001, and the way it was done in 2011. What do I mean by this? You'll note that in each of those years, the vote was literally a revolutionary one. The people came out in numbers and expressed their will very strongly. And I'm requesting, and this is the message that goes out to everyone, that, look, this year should not be an exception to to what happened in those years. I can't see. To what happened in those years. My daughter is trying to give me a message and I can't read it from this distance. So I'm asking her to just bring it a little closer. So if you allow me, I'll just read that. I'm hoping that that the camera is not upside down. Okay. All right. No, it's fine. So, yes, we are saying that let's give this vote all that we have. Let's make sure we come out in numbers. Let's make sure we vote early so that there is no disruption to our vote. There is no opportunity for there to be any manipulation of the numbers, because as you and I know, manipulation is possible where you have a small margin. I can give you a typical example of what happened in 2016, speaking from the perspective of the evidence that was there in support of the petition. As you know, the 2016 petition was not dealt with on the merits. It was decided on a technicality, but the evidence was there. The number of votes that separated President Lungu from the presidency, that made him president, should I put it that way, was 13,000, a mere 13,000 votes. So you can imagine how 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 devastating that failing to go out in numbers could be. Another statistic you might be interested in was that the number of votes that separated President Lungu and President Hijilema was 100,000 or thereabouts. So it is critical, if we are to ensure that the election is won, if we are to ensure that there is no room for tampering, that we don't sit back in our homes and say, the queues are too long, or I'm under the weather. No, not this election. This election must be taken as one of the most historic elections that have taken place in our country, just like the 1991 elections, just like the election in 2001, and just like the 2011 election. Why? Because we are at a crossroads as a country. We are in a space which I think, in all honesty, is one which we haven't experienced in a very long time. I happened to have been able to understand the goings on in the 1990s when the same thing was happening. Late President Kaunda, love him as we do, had reached a point in his leadership where he was not able to serve the interests of the people, even though obviously it was all hard for him, and he was trying to do the best for us. But as things would have it, it was not working. It was not happening. And the people of Zambia simply said, look, let our founding father, may his soul rest in peace, give a chance, pass on the baton to someone else. And I respond, even yesterday I was on radio, I respond to those that ask about the infrastructural development that has taken place in the country, and they say, but look, Lusaka Central, for example, you've got all these roads, flyover bridges. I've got in this constituency 2 flyover bridges, one recently constructed, the other one recently renovated, and the question is, but why do you think you should vote out the PF despite all this development? And I'll say to them, I'll give them a typical example of saying, look, President Kaunda built universities, built literally Zambia from scratch, cities and all that, and did all he could. But when the time for him to move on came, that was it. It had to be done. And there were certain macroeconomic fundamentals, microeconomic fundamentals that had gone wrong. Milli meal was expensive. Always milli meal goes to the root of any leadership, any person's leadership of a country like Zambia. It's a staple food, and therefore where it's difficult for people to access it, it becomes a challenge. The cost of living was high. Essential commodities were not there. This is 1990, 1991 that I'm talking about. And all the same things that we are seeing, it's a broken record. It's a repeat of what happened in the past. It's the same things that we are seeing now that caused us then to say, please, our beloved founding father, give someone else a chance to take this country to the level that you have tried but are not able to anymore. So it's not even about essentially about personalities or anything like that. It is a fact of life that at some point, everything that goes up must come down. At some point, these our colleagues who have run this country literally to the ground, and of course, we also are aware that in this particular dispensation, there are issues of corruption that we can't ignore. Right now, I was very recently, when I went to Bawaleni Clinic for my COVID jab, I found a lady who had a medical complication, let me put it that way. And she was in extreme pain. She recognized me and says to me, Anjenja, and which means, of course, please help me. And I was like, yes, I'm here for my jab. What has happened? And she brings out her prescription, a long list of drugs that had been prescribed. And she says, I'm in extreme pain. My baseline medicals are not in a good state, and the clinic here says they've got not a single drug on this list of what I need, and if I don't get these quickly, my situation will deteriorate. And you can imagine, she was in complete she was in a complete disarray. And I said to her, well, what can I do to help? We are in this situation now, and I had to cough out a medical bill in excess of like 600 kwacha, not thousand, 600 kwacha, as it were. And this lady could not afford that at all. And you look and say, can we morally say that we should give our current leaders another mandate when the facts of life are such that people cannot even afford a decent living? There's no medicine in the hospital. The food is out of many people's reach. 3/4 of the time when I interact with the people of the constituency who are most in need, they say they cannot even afford a single meal, a complete single meal a day. What they will do is scrape together what they can, and that is used for the benefit of the young children, especially the older people. The parents will just eat a couple of morsels. Is that what we want? And the answer to that question is no. So that is the basic message that we are putting across in the campaign, and it resonates with the people on the ground. It resonates with our fellow citizens who are expressing an extreme urgent need for there to be change, and I am happy to be an agent for change in that regard. Right. What else about the campaign has been asked? I think there was a question that came through earlier, that what are we going to do about the hostels at Ridgeway campus? As I said, I have a specific program I want to use to talk about that, but we can quickly scratch the surface. In undertaking my role, I used this period when physical campaigns were not allowed to do a private inspection of Ridgeway campus. Specifically, like I said, the medical profession is close to my heart, and I learned first that the state of the ablution blocks at Ridgeway campus in most of the hostels, especially the older ones, is extremely poor. There's a video to that effect. In one of the hostels, I discovered that there's a complete wing where the ablutions have no water whatsoever. And strangely, when I went later on to visit Highland House, where it's not students but actual medical personnel who are working are housed, and the status of though that particular infrastructure is also leaves much to be desired. At both Ridgeway and Highland House, there's mountains of garbage that have not been collected. They are burnt in open air, and it's a very, very sad state of affairs to look at our highest learning institutions, our institutions that and facilities that house people that look after our lives, to be so poor. And I thought that really is a complete mismatch, considering the poor set of priorities by which we live. And I really do want to do something about that. And the first thing about being able to resolve a problem or a situation is understanding that such a situation exists, and only then can you move to the next level, to the next stage of fixing the problem. And so in specific response to that question, I'm alive to the fact that the hostels are in dire need of renovation. I'm alive to the fact that there is a set of hostels that was supposed to have been, is under construction. It's been over 4 years since there's been any work done to them. And that is, in my view, one of the priority areas in terms of looking at improving the welfare of our medical personnel, in terms of improving the welfare of our students who are at the Ridgeway campus. So I'm in my plans. And of course, I'm alive to the fact that infrastructural development comes at a cost, and it is unlikely that the government would be able to afford those costs. But there's so many models by which this whole issue can be dealt with. You can look at a PPP model. You can look at a pure grant model based on people willing to help. So we'll look outside the box and we'll think outside the box. But I have recognized the challenge specifically with regard to those facilities. There was a question about what I will do about the car park at UTH. I don't quite understand whether the question is about expanding the space. I know that there's a multi-deck car park that has been under construction there for a while as well. I don't know how many car bays are sitting in that particular multi-deck structure. But certainly I'm aware that it is one of the efforts that has been made to alleviate the challenges with parking at UTH. And the question is, what needs to be done in order to commission that particular structure? And I will essentially find out about that in due course. So it's a work in progress, in short. It's something that we intend to address because we want to look at the entire situation at UTH and address it, because it is a key institution that sits in the constituency. Right, it is now 2047. I have had a very, very long day. I can see that many of you also have had a very, very long day because our numbers are quickly dropping. But thank you very much for joining us, for joining me. It's been an interesting discussion. I hope it has helped to give an understanding of where we are in the campaign. I would like to call it a day now so that everybody can get rest and we start tomorrow fresh. I just hope that you have enjoyed this discussion. I see that there are still a number of likes that are popping up there. I'm grateful. We will have a more hands-on discussion around the election next week. We are certainly on. We've resumed because ordinary campaigns have now been permitted by the ECZ. It's therefore my pleasure to say to you all good night. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for following all this time, and we continue to push. I believe the Anjenja fever has really gripped Lusaka Central constituency, and it is my hope and prayer that that will result in the necessary number of votes to see us through. We're looking at a good victory, and the ground seems to suggest that the people are with us, and that puts a smile on my face, literally. So good night, everyone. Thank you for joining me. It's now 20:50 hours according to my clock, well, 20:49 and counting. It is an apt point for us to end. Thank you and bye. See you next week.